Well, good afternoon and welcome to the State Bar of Texas annual meeting. As president of the State Bar, I am thrilled to see so many of you all here. As we all know, lawyers are creatures that require a lot of social interaction, and it's been some dark days for us. So we're thrilled to have you all here and to have the opportunity to learn and network and reconnect. I know this is going to be a great meeting filled with interesting CLE and some exceptional events, beginning with this one. The annual meeting is an appropriate time for lawyers, judges, and law students to come together to celebrate leaders who have made outstanding contributions to the legal profession and to their communities. And we want to especially thank the litigation section for its support of the luncheon today. Thank you. We have a great keynote speaker today that I know you all are eager to hear, but before we get to that, we have some presentations for you. And first, we'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. On the stage with me are Ana Lourdes Calvillo and Teresita Alicia Calvillo to lead in the U.S. and Texas pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, ladies. Let's give them a round of applause. They are the daughters of one of the member of the boards of directors, my good friend David Calvillo and his lovely wife, and thank you for allowing them to do this for us today. And at this time, I'd like to invite Judge Mike Davis, the 2021-2022 chair of the Local Bar Services Committee, to present the Local Bar Services Awards. Judge, please come forward.
All right, thank you, Madam President, and good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back. Doesn't it feel good to be back here all together once again? As she said, my name is Michael Davis, and I am the chair of the Local Bar Services Committee, and today I have the honor and the privilege of presenting our awards. Now, the Local Bar Services Committee has a privilege to work closely with local bar associations and witness the remarkable work they accomplish. The committee selects one individual who has shown commitment, dedication, and loyalty to the bar at all levels of service. This award is named after the late Judge Sam Williams, who served many years as a secretary of the Northeast Texas Bar Association and led his bar organization into a strong association. It is his enthusiasm and professional pride that we commemorate here today. It is my honor to announce the winner of the 2022 Judge Sam Williams Award, the Honorable Karin Crump. There you are. In your honor, it is my honor to ask you to please join us later on, not right now, but later on, and we'll have the pictures and all that good stuff up here. Now, Judge Crump has served as a presiding judge of the 250th District Court in Travis County since January of 2015. She has shined as an innovator and facilitator of access to justice and legal education during a time when it's been needed the most. When COVID-19 shut down the courts, Judge Crump facilitated the resumption of virtual jury trials for the people of Travis County while increasing the size and participation of jury pools and the engagement of individual jurors. In doing so, she made the courts even more accessible to those of modest means than ever before. She has also helped countless paralegals, lawyers, and judges learn to navigate virtual trials through one-on-one interaction, published articles, and at least 14 CLE presentations, many of which she facilitated through the Austin Bar Association. In addition to her role as a champion of increased access to the courts, Judge Crump was the primary facilitator of reengaging the Austin Bar Association's commitment to celebrating Law Day. This resulted in the Austin Bar's successful participation in the State Bar's 2022 Law Day poster and essay contest and the organization of its Law Day celebration at the University of Texas School of Law, where 150 students from primarily East Austin schools came together to engage, learn, and be inspired by lawyers and judges. Judge Crump stepped up again recently to enlist the Austin Bar Association and its members to create a program to reduce the significant backlog of uncontested divorce cases awaiting processing. She again brought the right people together to organize short-term and long-term pro bono clinics staffed by the University of Texas law students and Austin Bar members to not only address the immediate need, but also ensure a swift processing and hearings for Travis County residents. Her efforts are already paying significant dividends. These are just a few examples of Judge Crump's long record of service to the Travis County community, the Austin Bar, and beyond. She is the embodiment of integrity and a leader and a teacher for us all. And again, Judge Crump, if you'll please stand one more time to be recognized, that's just an awesome biography right there. Thank you for your service. And after the luncheon, all the award recipients will join us here on stage and we'll take pictures. All right, now, at this point, the Local Bar Service Committee honors local bar associations with the Award of Merit, recognizing their overall bar year, including community service, member service, publications, and social events. As I read the Award of Merit winners, please stand to be recognized, and following the program, again, you will receive your award and take pictures with President Firth. Now, before I say this, again, this is one thing that we've always enjoyed. The Local Bar Services Committee comes together normally every year. And one of my good friends sitting out there, I see Santos Vargas, as the prior chair to me taking over. I was his vice chair. And it's just something that we really enjoy providing to the State Bar as all the bar associations as well. These past few years, everybody being shut down and not able to function and do these, it's really great to be back together. We were proud to judge this year's contestants and applications. There are some very awesome entries, and without further ado, let me go ahead and announce these winners. The Award of Merit winners are Division II, Jefferson County Bar Association. There they are. Division III, Houston Young Lawyers Association. There you are. Division IV, Dallas Bar Association. We have many outstanding local bar associations and thank them for their exemplary service to their members, the community, and the justice system. I would also like to recognize the remarkable local bar executive directors and staff members. All volunteers know that each year of dedication enables Texas lawyers to better serve their communities and provide access to justice. Will representatives of the local bars being honored today please stand as I read your association's name? And again, following the program, you guessed it, you'll come up here on stage and then we'll take our pictures. All right, recipients of the Stars of Texas Bar Awards are Austin Bar Association. Any members? Stand on up, don't be shy. Dallas Bar Association. Jefferson County Bar Association. The Houston Bar Association. There they are. The Houston Young Lawyers Association. The San Antonio Bar Association. And last but certainly not least, the Tarrant County Bar Association. Thank you all to the local bar representatives who are present today. Your commitment to the profession, your community, and our judicial system is truly inspiring. Now, I would like to invite President Firth back to the podium to honor the State Bar of Texas Pro Bono and Legal Services Award recipients and the Law Focused Education Award recipients. Madam President.
Thank you, Judge Davis. Before we proceed, I'm going to take a little point of personal privilege. I was so excited to get us all started here that I neglected to make note of the fact that my parents are here. I'd like you all to welcome my mom and dad and my sister, Chrys. They're here to celebrate with me. So for the Pro Bono Awards, every year the State Bar of Texas honors attorneys who selflessly take on pro bono cases in pursuit and go above and beyond to provide access to justice to low-income Texans. I'm honored to recognize the dedicated individuals, law firms, and legal service providers with this year's State Bar of Texas Pro Bono and Legal Services Awards. As I read the winners' names, please stand and be recognized. Winners will receive their award and take photos after the luncheon. But the first award is the Frank J. Scurlock Award, which honors an attorney for outstanding pro bono work. And this year, the award goes to Michael Logan Ware of Fort Worth. Where's Michael? Right up here. Congratulations, Michael. The second award is the J. Chrys Dougherty Legal Services Award, which recognizes an outstanding legal services staff attorney. And this year's recipient is the Reverend Brooks Harrington of Fort Worth. Where is the Reverend? Right here. Congratulations and thank you. The third award is the W. Frank Newton Award, which recognizes the pro bono efforts of attorney groups whose members have made outstanding contributions towards increasing access to legal services for the poor. This year, the award goes to Sidley Austin LLP in Dallas. With the representatives, there you go. Thank you very much for your service and congratulations. The Pro Bono Award recognizes a volunteer attorney organization that has made outstanding contributions to guarantee that all Texans have access to the legal system. This year, the award goes to Metroplex Veterans Legal Services in Dallas. Congratulations and thank you. The Pro Bono Coordinator Award honors an individual for exceptional contributions to improve legal services for the poor while serving as the Pro Bono Coordinator for a legal entity. This year's recipient is Audrey F. Momini of Houston. The Pro Bono Support Staff Award recognizes the invaluable contributions that non-attorney volunteers provide. Its purpose is to promote the awareness of pro bono activities that non-attorneys can participate in and to encourage non-attorneys who work in the legal profession to volunteer their time and specialty skills to pro bono projects within the community. This year's recipient is Stacey Manela of Houston. Thank you, Stacey. The Judge Merrill Hartman Pro Bono Judge Award honors a judge, sitting or retired, who has provided exemplary pro bono service, including outreach to attorneys to increase the quantity and quality of pro bono representation, modification to court processes to increase access to justice, advocacy on behalf of access to justice, or service as a volunteer judge for pro bono clinics or other pro bono proceedings. The award is named after the late Judge Merrill Hartman of Dallas, who was a tireless advocate for low-income communities and their access to justice. This year's recipient is the Honorable Jerry W. Simoneaux of Houston. Judge? The Warren Burnett Award is named for the late legendary Texas attorney Warren Burnett. The award recognizes extraordinary contributions to improving the quality of criminal legal representation to indigent Texans. The award honors either an individual or an organization for their work in the courtroom, legislature, or public sphere. This year's award recipient is Jeff Blackburn of Amarillo. the Michael K. Moore Award for Excellence in Research or Writing in the area of indigent criminal defense. This award is named after Dr. Michael K. Moore for his pivotal role in several research and writing efforts that had a major effect on indigent defense in Texas. The award will be presented to an individual, including both private citizens and members of the bar, or an organization in recognition of exceptional research or writing that deals with indigent criminal defense and that represents a significant contribution to the knowledge and practices of the bench, bar, and scholarly communities. This year's recipient is Michael Ritter of San Antonio. Michael. Thank you, Michael. We honor these dedicated leaders today. They set the example of what we can do in our communities, and we are very appreciative for all of their work. One more round of applause for all the award winners. The next group awards are the Law-Focused Education Awards. One of the best things about being an attorney is the opportunity to help others in a capacity that only those in the legal field are equipped to do. This includes a commitment to liberty, justice, and the rule of law in elementary, middle, and high school students. Every year, attorneys work to kindle the spirit of justice among our youth through law-related education. And it is an honor today to acknowledge some of the most dedicated amongst them. After the program, the winners will receive their awards and take photos. But as I read the Law-Focused Education Awards, recipients, please stand to be recognized. The first award, the State Bar established the Nancy L. Garms Memorial Award in 1995 to honor an attorney or judge who emulate tireless service to the State Bar of Texas law-focused education programs. And this year's recipient is Kim Schaefer of Dallas. Where's Kim? Thank you, Kim. The Leon Jaworski Award for Teaching Excellence recognizes those who have made an outstanding contribution to law-focused education and who foster understanding of our legal and judicial systems. This year, the award goes to Jodie Denton of Round Rock. Jodie? And congratulations to all of our award recipients. We're grateful for your service to the profession and the people of Texas. And I'd now like to invite my friend Denise Schofield to come forward to introduce our keynote speaker. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone in person today, and it's a real honor to get to introduce today's keynote speaker. Chrys Shepherd has really transformed the culinary experience in Houston since opening Underbelly in 2012. He built the restaurant to support the Houston food community and its suppliers by buying and drawing inspiration from the people and the cultures who live in Houston. Thanks to his vision and passion, Underbelly was a James Beard Award semifinalist for the Best New Restaurant, was named one of the best new restaurants in the country by Bon Appetit and Esquire, and was named one of the 38 essential restaurants in America by Eater. Chrys was named one of the 10 best new chefs in America by Food & Wine in 2013, and was then awarded the 2014 James Beard Award for the best chef in the Southwest. In 2018, he closed Underbelly to expand the Underbelly Hospitality Restaurant Group, which includes the Georgia James Steakhouse, Georgia James Tavern, Underbelly Burger, Wild Oats, which is a fresh take on traditional Texas cuisine, and Pastore, an Italian-American restaurant, is set to open later this year. Chrys was a semifinalist for the James Beard Award for Outstanding Chef in 2019, and he was named Rob Report's Chef of the Year the same year. His first cookbook, Cook Like a Local, Flavors That Can Change How You Cook and See the World was published in September of 2019, and he was nominated for a 2020 James Beard Foundation Award. Perhaps most significantly, in 2015, Chrys launched the nonprofit Southern Smoke Foundation to support and assist people in need in the food and beverage industry. The foundation has been active in helping those affected by both Hurricane Harvey and the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, it has distributed almost $10 million to those in need who serve us in the food industry. Please join me in welcoming Chrys Shepard.
I came up this way, sorry. I told him I was gonna come up the back way. How y'all doing today, good? Good? All right, I don't stand in front of these things too well. I like to walk around too much. I think that's just the cook in me. Sorry, you guys are gonna hate that. How y'all doing so far, good? I think this is a very interesting point for me to be able to do this today and have this conversation with y'all. It's just bringing a different point of view to life, especially for lawyers, right? Because cooks, chefs, restaurants, anybody that runs a restaurant is pretty much the same as what you all do. Not the same, but the dedication to what it takes, the teamwork in which it takes, the experience in which it takes. And so I'm gonna kind of go back to day one of how I started doing this. Born in Nebraska, grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Just didn't really get into school that much, didn't like it, was never really, I didn't find my calling for the longest time, let's say that. I may be one of the only people that you'll ever meet that got kicked out of Tulsa Junior College. I'd like to find out if that's an actual fact or not, because not sure anybody's taken that role yet. But I took a job as a dishwasher in a sushi bar in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1993. Do the math on that. Not many sushi bars in Tulsa. It was an interesting ride, but it was something that I took to heart as I was scrubbing eel sauce pots, peeling shrimp, and just doing general dishwashing jobs, right? I learned a lot from that. But I worked my way through the kitchen, ended up being the tempura guy for a while. But what I learned was how to work with a team. What I didn't know I needed to do was go to culinary school. And we'll get to this, gentleman, later, but my boss at the time, I said I wanted to go work in front and learn how to do the sushi aspect of things, and he was like, it's 1993, in a sushi bar in Tulsa, Oklahoma, me walking up and being like, what's up, y'all? Like, that just wasn't the kind of motive that he was looking for. It was him, he did it by himself, and he was perfect at it. But what he did tell me was like, you need to go to culinary school. At that point in time, this was before Food Network really, I looked at it and I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's where they teach you how to cook, man. I was like, all right, but what more importantly is that he gave me the opportunity and he taught me as much as he possibly could, pushed me out of the nest to make me go see and do something new. I moved down here to Houston, my parents lived here, and started culinary school. Kind of worked my way through things. Worked at Houston Country Club for a while, a little place in Clear Lake, a little place in Conroe, and then I ended up working at Brennan's for about 9 years. Those of you in Houston probably know the Brennan family, I hope. They've been doing this thing for like 70 years, so it's kind of important to our city. 7 of those years I worked in the front of the house, and 7 of those years I worked in the back of the house. 2 of those years I took over the wine program because I wanted to see what you guys need. Because in the kitchen, you stand in the back and you look and someone says, hey, this guest wants this. And you're like, no. And then finally, one of the servers was like, well, you go tell them that. And I was like, ooh, I'm not gonna do that. So I decided to take over the wine program. I'd been studying wine, but passed my first level of the quartermaster sommeliers just as something to do. So they let me do it, which was pretty impressive. But what I learned out there was what a guest needs before they actually need it, and how to correlate between the front of the house and the back of the house. Because traditionally in restaurants, there's always this defining moment where not everybody gets along. And that was traditionally just the front of the house and the back of the house. And later in the evening, people would all become friends over a drink again. Wasn't my jam. So then I went to go, aspect of that kind of mentality I didn't like. It was bringing a team together to understand each other was what worked better for me. And it worked at Brennan's for a while. Then I left to go open a place called Catalan, which was a focus on Spanish cuisine, but I kind of took it on my own to not make it Spanish cuisine and focus on our city. And that's why I truly love to learn about Houston as a food capital. I know a lot of you aren't from Houston, but it says food capital of the state, let's call it that. All right? I take a lot of pride in our city, and I take a lot of pride in the people that are here doing what they do on a daily basis. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it, and if anybody wants to leg wrestle about it later, we can. All right? But I opened up Underbelly, and what that was a side of things not seen. And that was the people of our city, that was the food of our city. My now wife and I were doing culinary tours and showing people Houston. And what I realized, these tours were set up for, we would put 18 people on a bus, drive them around to restaurants that we ate at, and we really thought it was gonna be for tourism, and it was not. It was 99.5% locals wanting to learn about their own city, because Houston is a big place. Everybody gets on a freeway, lives from somewhere else, goes to downtown or wherever they're going, and then goes home. Spends time in their own little pockets, but they miss the pockets, bigger pockets, the other areas of the city. And when you start looking at our city, the Vietnamese culture, the Indian cultures, the Hispanic cultures, like we wanted to show that through food. And once we got to doing that, I realized that Underbelly was kind of the thing that needed to happen. We focused on our city. We bought products from our city. When I tell people this, they kind of look at me, especially in the restaurant business, they look at me like I'm probably one of the craziest people they'll ever meet. We wrote the menu every day. We didn't use a produce company. We just dealt with what our farmers dropped off. Tuesday was steer day, so every Tuesday, 1,000-pound steer came in the back door. Thursdays were hog days, where 3 250-pound hogs came in. Fridays were goat days. Saturday, our poultry guy came in. He just brought whatever he wanted. And every day was fish day. So every day we had to sit back as cooks, and it was where I learned how to give people direction, where I learned where to trust people, to train people, to let them speak their voices, because we wrote the menu every day together, right? You know how many ribeyes a 1,000-pound cow has? 22. You know what happens after 22? If you show up at 8:30, you don't get a ribeye. We changed it. It just always evolved throughout service. But then when we decided I wanted to open up a restaurant called 1/5, which is in the old Mark's location, I thought nobody would agree with this. Get this. I signed a 5-year lease to do 5 restaurants in 5 years. Every year we would change the concept. And I thought, when I said that, there was one person in this room that's here right now that would say, absolutely not. Thought my wife would say no. She said, nope, this is a really smart concept. You get to PR it every year. So, first year was 1/5 steak. Second year was 1/5 romance languages. And we would close down pretty much the month of August, change the interiors, the decors, the uniforms, the thought process, everything. It was the most insane idea that I've ever had, and I look back at it and I say it's still the most insane idea. 1/5 romance, which is based on French, Spanish, and Italian, and then 1/5 Mediterranean, focus on Eastern Mediterranean, 1/5 Gulf Coast. The pandemic hit, we went back to Mediterranean because that was the easiest thing for restaurants and for to go, because that's what we needed, right? We needed people to get to-go food for that first couple months. And so it was what we focused on that could travel well. And then 1/5 Southern Comfort, may have gotten those backwards. It may have been Southern Comfort, then Gulf Coast, I don't really remember. But then at the end of it, I just said, you know what? We have the oldest wood-burning oven in the city. We've never put a pizza out in it. So we opened up 1/5 red sauce Italian. And now, through learning, if we didn't learn anything during pandemic as a restaurant owner, which was probably the hardest thing that everybody's had to do, so I don't think we need to talk about that. I learned about real estate, and I learned about changing things. So at this point, when she was talking about all the restaurants, that's all within the past year. That's insane. We opened up Georgia James Tavern last August, downtown, in Market Square Tower, which is a small version of just a tavern. It's like 38 seats, super small. We have opened up Underbelly Burger last January, up at the historic farmers market. Next door to that, Wild Oats, which is our take, and it's one of the restaurants that I love the most. Can't say I love it the most, because I love them all equally. It's kind of the Underbelly philosophy, right? What we did on a local level, we now do on a state level, right? So we take the dishes of Texas history through our eyes. And it is absolutely, I mean, when we talk chicken fried steak, it's arguably the best chicken fried steak I've ever had because of the thought process that went into it. We talk about history of chicken fried steak, and it's a long documented thing, but what we found is that traditionally when you make a chicken fried steak, just as simple as that, you have the beef, dredge it through your liquid, flour, fry. Once you add liquid in between flour and protein, it puffs, right? So the crust always sucks. Sorry. But we marinate it in ranch and then dredge it, chill it, and then dredge it again and fry it, which gives it a better stick. So when we start talking about Texas cuisine, we try to re-envision what makes it so delicious, because we felt that when people around the country would come in and be like, we're gonna go eat Texas cuisine, it was kind of poking fun at us. And I don't like having people poke fun at me because I take it very seriously. Right? If we're gonna do it and we're gonna execute it, we're gonna do it the very best. And so when we did this, we had this big live fire, we call it Grilly Nelson. It is a 4,000-pound cast iron piece of beauty that our friend Aaron Franklin made for us. And if you haven't been, just go by and check it out. Just go stand in front of Grilly. It is awesome. And it's a one-of-a-kind piece that we'll never get back. Anyway, so back to 1/5. Right now, it is back to 1/5 Georgia James, because that was a state concept that we changed Underbelly into. Anyway, that moves into its new home at the end of the month. And then Pastoria, which translates Georgia James. Georgia is my mom, James is my dad, right? Pastoria is gonna be right next door to that, which Pastoria means shepherd. So Georgia James Shepherd is kind of my homage to my family. That'll open later this year. That's restaurants. What we found over the past, and we talked about 2015, cooking is cool, right? It's fun. Running restaurants is awesome. It's hard. It is an amazing thing, but I think the thing that means more to me than anything is in 2015, we were doing dinners to put people through culinary school, right? We would do these little off-the-wall dinners because at Underbelly, we had 50 photos on the wall of people that we were inspired by throughout this city, through food, through music, design, whatever that may be. And we would pull 2 or 3 people off. So it would be we would have a Chinese food truck, now a big restaurant, a bunch of them called Rice Box, and then we would do Mala Szechuan, and then a dim sum joint, and then we would pull all these people that have never met together to do a dinner in our restaurant. That money would put together to put somebody through culinary school, because that was a big initiative for me, because understanding that the restaurant and hospitality industry doesn't really pay, right? Not until later on, and we're working on getting all of that better at this point. But it's hard to go to school full-time, work full-time. I'm sorry, those two things, when I went to school, they were like, don't work. What do you mean, don't work? I think if all of you in here understand that if you're gonna do what you need to do, it's long hours, it's dedication, you don't get away from it. You put everything into your industry first, and then family second, and then so on and so forth. We put somebody through school. It was probably the hardest thing we've ever done, because just getting somebody to go to school full-time and work full-time, that was the only requirements. It took us 2 years to give that money away, which is another insight into our industry. But the gentleman that was working with us, a friend of mine, was a former sommelier that we worked together at Catalan, came to me and asked if we could do a dinner for MS. And I was like, we can, but why? He said, well, I was diagnosed with MS this week. So I told him, no, we're not gonna do a dinner. We're gonna throw a party. Not knowing what that really meant, I was like, let me get back to you. So I decided that we're gonna throw this little backyard barbecue thing. I called some friends, Aaron, of course, Sean Brock, Rodney Scott, and we got some of the other chefs from around the city. Lindsay and I were talking about it, and I said, you know what, we're gonna have to go to the mayor's department to shut down the sidewalks, because I started getting problems with the local people about, our valet sitting in the sidewalk, which whatever. I'm not sure why that was a problem. We got to the mayor's department of special events. She looked at us and said, what are you guys doing? We told her, she said, no, block off all the streets around them, give them the infrastructure to block everything off, give them our stage. You guys are gonna throw a festival. Okay. What do we, we walked out, and I was like, what just happened? She was like, I don't know. It was like a tornado just hit us. So I had to call my buddies back and say, you know what, that dinner we were gonna do for 200 is gonna be probably 1,000, maybe 1,200. Everybody, absolutely fine. We started working towards our goal and towards the date, and I finally looked at Lindsay and said, I bet we need to call the MS Society and tell them we're doing this. So we did about a month out. I said, I want to give you a check for $100,000. That's the goal. They laughed because a lot of people will call and say that, but understanding costs and understanding how things are done, generally, at the end of the day, and this can go back to a lot of festivals, that's another conversation, they'll throw you a check for $10,000, right? So I would expect a laugh. They came and helped us out. That night, chefs, barbecue, live fire, everything, music. We ended up writing a check for $181,000 that night. Thank you. And it was one of the biggest feel-good festivals we've ever been to, because we as cooks do a lot of festivals, and we'll get into that too. But year two, we decided to do another one, keep going with the process. We raised $284,000 that night. Year three was 2017, and about 2 months before that, we had a little thing happen called Hurricane Harvey that came through our city and really put its toll on hospitality workers, restaurant workers, farmers, delivery drivers, drive-through workers, anybody in the food chain. So when we started, we brought on our first employee, who is here today too, Catherine Lott, our executive director. Say hi, Catherine. May seem like a thing, but that year, she really helped us. I looked at Lindsay and I said, we can't do this for MS this year. We have to figure out a way, because I had friends calling me, like, how can I get money into the hands of these folks? And it was like, there's J.J. Watt's Fund, there's the Mayor's Fund, there's the Red Cross, but not one of them is really gonna impact any one of these servers today. It's just not. Whether it be they lost their house, their job, their car, that's not gonna impact these folks today. So we put together a system. We found out our 501c3 could write checks to people. It's a good thing. We figured out a way to take applications in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese, go through a verifying committee to make sure insurance hadn't covered everything, and then an awards committee. We took in 250, she's gonna say a different number, but roughly 250 applications. We granted 139 families over $500,000. Thank you. At that point, we realized that we needed to do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We needed some way to make sure that everybody in our industry has a safety net, because traditionally, our industry is full of people that are very prideful, that don't have insurance, that work paycheck to paycheck, don't ask for help ever, until it's the very last thing, but we needed something out there that would take care of everybody, right? Just farmer to owner, right? With anything. So we went on as full focused, full funded, not full funded, but full focused, fully operational system where we wanted to take care of Houston first, right? Our area. And then it branched into Texas, right? And then it branched into a little bit here, a little bit there, hurricanes in North Carolina we take care of, fires in Napa we would take care of, floods in Nebraska we would look at and take care of. But then we hired our second employee, end of January 2020, February 2020, thinking, we're getting to the point where we're taking in like 10 or 12 applications a week. We're going to need somebody to help with case management because Catherine couldn't do it all the time. Middle of March 2020, we had 40 employees. We took on furloughed wait staff, cooks to become caseworkers because by May of 2020, remember that 250 applications? We were well over 35,000 applications nationwide. We went from super small to nationwide, 24 hours a day, massive amounts of crisis. And it just was from donations. Like the Houston Texans called me and were like, hey, can we talk about Southern Smoke? And here's a check for 50, It just really worked out. It worked out that we started something very small and could focus into our industry. And we're one of the only people, one of the only organizations. We have no red tape. We do what we want, for the most part. And I have to make, director over here, PR over here. Got to make sure I say these things right. But we take care of anybody on a moment's notice as well. A lot of foundations that do what we do they meet every 6 months to take care of large casework. We don't. We can fund somebody pretty much within a day, and we don't have a cap. I don't know how much time I have. Do I talk about Danny? Huh? Okay. Right after 2018, we had a call. We just finished our festival, and we got a phone call. Catherine called me and was like, hey, I need to talk to you about this funding for an individual because we've never done anything like this for somebody that's going into rehab. And I was like, what? What are we talking about? I didn't realize it was brain trauma. A young individual had been hit on a motorcycle, owns a pizza joint outside of town. His insurance company said, we're pretty much done. You got 2 days to figure this out. He had just gone through his 4th brain surgery. His mom and all of the nurses, all of the staff were kind of at wits' end, didn't really know what to do, looking for a Hail Mary. And a volunteer on the floor was reading the Chronicle. They had written about the festival 2 days before. They called us, everything lined up. Within 2 days, less than that, 1 day. They had 2 days. In 1 day, we walked in with a check of $100,000 to make sure that Danny didn't have to pass, that his mom didn't have to make that decision to put him into hospice and watch him go away. Danny's still fighting to this day, but he still has a leg up. So he came to the festival in 2019, which was really cool. Really, really cool to see that it actually saves lives. It actually does what it's supposed to. But in 2020, one of the biggest things that we discussed in 2018, when we had all the chefs, we did a closed door session with all of their chefs coming in from out of town. And this was right after Anthony Bourdain had passed. And we had this discussion about, as leaders of our industry, what can we do? How do we make a change for positive impact in our industry? Because, can I show you guys a video? You good with a video? I don't know if I gave you enough time to roll that beautiful bean footage. Try another roasted. You got 3 all day. That is a typical beginning of shift. That was early in the evening, and then it just ramped from there. But when people, like, what is it like working in a restaurant? There you go. That's a little bit of a taste, right? That is, it's pressure, it's high driven, it's fast, you don't really think, you do. Lots of flames, lots of this, lots of that. And then there's the guest, that's a whole different story, right? But there's this thing that we decided that was gonna be a big initiative for us. And mental health is one of the largest focuses for us at this point, coming out of COVID times. Thank you. But one of the things that we talked about is that we'll have a discussion, and we're gonna have a discussion with y'all here in a little bit, is that the world doesn't look at mental health as a problem until you have to deal with that, but it should be a spoken thing on a daily basis. People should not think of it as I don't wanna talk about it. You have to talk about it. You have to be a part of it. You have to understand what people are going through, if it's yourself or somebody else. So in 2020, we worked really hard, and it came at the perfect time. So end of June in 2020, we were able to provide, with the help of Mental Health America and the University of Houston, we provide free mental health care to anybody in the hospitality in the state of Texas and their children, which is for us, one of the greatest things that could have happened at that point in time, right? At the end of July, because we don't know how to stop, at the end of July, we will be in Texas, Louisiana, California, Pennsylvania, and Illinois. All 5 of those states will have free mental health care for anybody in the industry, with the goal of 2028 in all 50 states. That is a safety net. That is what we're doing. That is what we're talking about. We're not only helping people stay in their homes, get out of dramatic situations, abuse in life, making sure their kids have medicine, food on the table, power in their homes, not living in a car, but we need to make sure that we do this in a rounded whole effort. And so Catherine and I have been talking, and Lindsay, about the next part of this, and that's where y'all come in. I want to be able to have legal counsel or advice. I saw all the pro bono stuff up there. You guys are awesome. Thank you for that. I want to be able to set up a wing of Southern Smoke that can give legal advice, because chefs and restaurants are generally, we just sign deals. We don't look at them. And that's a problem, right? I mean, I'm having, like, every time I talk to chefs, that, like, why didn't your restaurant work? They're like, I didn't read the fine print. I didn't have counsel. Because young chefs and restaurateurs, they're spending every last little penny on a table jack, a tray, a chair, even the glasses that are on your table. And we don't think about the legal part of it. So at some point, Catherine's got some cards, but we would like to speak with you all in the state of Texas about how do we, as an organization, have that representation for folks in our industry. And that's just a conversation. I'm not asking for answers right this second, but a conversation that needs to actually happen as well, because I believe that goes into the mental health part of it, because I've got a young guy that just came on board with us that was like, I'm screwed. His restaurant didn't work. He's trying to figure out how to deal with that, and it changes your life. Because we have gone through a lot in the past 3 years in this industry, all of us combined, and I hate talking about just like one industry, because all industries were affected. Every human, was affected. How do we make a change? what's the next goal for us? So my goal is with you guys. Is that cool? Because I would love to be able to call the Texas Bar Association and be like, how do we do this? Who's the president? Yeah, okay, we'll be talking. Yay! But, because together we got to get through the scenarios in life, right? People are like, well, why do you do this all the time? I was like, because we all live on this same little thing that spins, and if we're all going in the same direction, we can get through it together, and we need help from each other. I'll cook your dinner, you take a look at my contracts. How about that? We good with that? Anyway, that's kind of where I wanted to end up today, was just kind of putting that out there in the world, because a few years back I did that with Catherine about the mental health aspect of it, and now we're just on a massive change in our industry. And that's what we have to do, is continually change our industries to make it better, for our staff, for our employees, because our workforces are low. Yeah, I get that. I was on a conference call this morning. How are you dealing with not being able to staff? And it's like, as restaurants, our restaurant group now pays higher, 401k, and provides free insurance to all full-time employees at our cost, because it's worth it. Because it's just a hard world out there, and we got to take care of each other. That's the biggest point of it. Nobody does it. We have to do it together. So, real quick, round of applause for the staff that's here today. I appreciate every one of you. All the people that put this on, I appreciate you. Y'all have a fun conference, so I don't know what my times are, but yes, ma'am. Oh, southernsmoke.org. Thank you. Yeah, that's us. Our festival is October 21st through the 23rd this year. 60 chefs coming in from around the country. 3 days of live fires and hell yeses. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, thank you. I forget to say things like that. Yeah. Southern Smoke over here wouldn't be so happy with me. PR, same thing, like, why didn't you talk about the name? But yeah, just go to the website, check it out, see what we're doing. We're trying to make a difference, and we're going to, every day of our lives. Like I said, we say it all the time, cooking's the easy part. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you to Chrys for his remarks and for making a difference in our community. Our lunch today, we've honored a number of lawyers who have made a difference in their communities. And we are so grateful for their efforts and their achievements. And we look forward to seeing what everyone in this room can do together over the upcoming year. Every single one of you can be an inspiration to others. As we close, make sure that if you've received an award, please come up front so that you have your photograph taken, and I hope everyone has a great day enjoying the opportunity to get a lot of CLE together. Thank you.